Well, it's Christmas night here in Blanchard, Oklahoma. I have no idea if anybody will see this, but I just had some inspirational thoughts and some reflections I thought I would share as Christmas Day winds down. And if it blesses one person, it'll be worth it. First of all, this has been a Christmas like none other that we have ever had. In 55, almost 56 years of marriage, this would be our 55th Christmas together. And it is the first one that Shirley and I have spent the day completely alone, by ourselves. Not lonely, by ourselves. How did that happen? Well, the week leading up to Christmas, up until yesterday, we were in Mexico with a part of our family, Tim and his family, Rochelle and her family. There was 10 of us all together, and we flew back home yesterday. That was an adventure in and of itself, in that we were due to fly out at 2:30, so we scheduled to get to the airport at noon. But by the time we got there, our flight, because of storms in Dallas, had been delayed till 6. And so we were settling in for a 6-hour wait at the airport in Cancun. But when we checked in, the lady informed us there was another flight that had come in. It was leaving at 1:30, and she could get us on that. We couldn't have the good seats we had, but we would get back to Dallas around 4:30 or 5. And so we were just thrilled that we weren't going to have to wait 6 hours. As it turned out, the flight that was going to come in at 6 got totally canceled and did not leave until today. So had we not been able to get on another flight, we would have had to find accommodations and spent the night, another night there, who knows where. So we were just thankful to get home, and we landed at the DFW around 5 and then drove home. By the time we got our car, anyhow, we got home before 10 o'clock at night. Tim's family went on down south to visit relatives of Ashley, and Rochelle and her family, they did their thing, and the truth is, Shirley wasn't feeling well, so we didn't want to expose anybody, so we spent the day together. And so in all the 55 Christmases we've had, it will be one we always remember as no one in our house but us. And don't feel sorry for us at all. We have had 55 wonderful Christmases. And usually there's family, friends, and a few strangers that show up at our table on Christmas. But today, because she wasn't feeling well, I got in the kitchen, cooked lunch. Well, what's that got to do with? Just to share with you something that I heard today on a couple of things on Hallmark movies that we watched together. And I will tell you, I struggle with even going to that channel because they drank the Kool-Aid, but you who know what I'm talking about will know, and the others doesn't matter. But we watched a couple of movies, Debbie McComber's Mrs. Miracle, and there were some wonderful quotes in there, and I stopped it and I wrote these down, and I want to share with you a couple of things that I think is so good in life. The first thing that I stopped and wrote down immediately was this: people come into our lives to either be a blessing or a lesson. Chew on that a while. Think of the people that have come into your life, some that you invested in, and you just thought it was going to be a lifelong friend, but then along the road, something went awry. And without casting stones, they went on their way and forgot you ever existed. And you're saying, what's this about, Lord? I thought you brought them into my life for XYZ. Think about this quote. People come into your life to either be a blessing or a lesson. And if you learn the lesson, even those that leave your life will have been a blessing. Does that make sense? Sometimes God puts people in your life to stir things up, to help you grow spiritually because of dealing with them. And then they walk away, and the Lord wants to see how you handle it. Have you ever gone to the Lord and said, Lord, do you know what it's like to be betrayed? That's kind of a funny question, isn't it? Do you know what it's like to be betrayed? Do you know what it's like to love somebody and invest in them and just see them walk away? Yeah, he does. So, when people come into your life, and the people you have now, some are there to be long-term blessings, but some will come in to teach us lessons. Lessons in humility. Lessons in wising up, not to be so gullible. There's a lot of different reasons that God brings people into your lives. You that have your own businesses like Blake, I see. You know, he's going to bring a lot of people into your life, both customers and employees. And some will be a blessing and some will be a lesson. But if you approach it that way, you will enjoy the blessings without getting frustrated with those who came to give you lessons. You know, in school, I don't know about you, but the teachers that I liked the most weren't always the best teachers. Often the best teachers are the ones I didn't like that well because they pushed you and didn't allow you to skate by. I had a senior English teacher that, or maybe junior, I'm not sure when it was, but what I learned was she loved guys and she loved glitter. And this little lady, when I turned in my end of the semester report, it was not near complete, but in the back cover in that folder, I used glitter. And I wrote a poem to all the teachers I had ever had. It was a horrible report, the homework part, but I knew how to touch her heart. And I got an A- with a comment that I didn't have much substance, but I had some real good thoughts. I love that teacher, but some of the others that pushed me. And so learn to learn from the people that God brings into your life that push you, that challenge you, that stab you in the back. Become a better person because of it. So for you that are just tuning in, these are lessons I learned watching a Hallmark movie today. People come into our lives to either be a blessing or a lesson. And if you'll see that, you will keep from becoming bitter and having a bad attitude about life. Thank God for those that are there for lessons. And then, this was another quote. Loneliness is not a lack of company. It's a lack of purpose. Say that again. Loneliness is not because of a lack of company. It's because of a lack of purpose. When you chew on that one, you will realize that there's no reason to be lonely as long as you have a purpose in life. Some of you have heard this illustration, but years ago I heard it. It was told, it's a true story, I believe it was, about a lady who had gone to see a psychiatrist, a counselor, and was at the point of wanting to take her life and tried everything, reasoning, and said, well, before you do the ultimate deed, I would like you to do something. And he said, I would like you to go and buy a due to come and see him. She didn't show up for the appointment. And he got concerned because she wasn't there. And so finally, he reached out to her and said, you missed your appointment. So she came in to see him and she said, you know, you told me to go get a dozen roses and take and hand out to 12 people in the hospital. She said, I did that on Monday. And said, then I did it on Tuesday. And then I did it on Wednesday. And she said, now I'm doing it every day. And she said, I'm not depressed anymore. I don't need your help anymore. Loneliness is not because of a lack of company. It's because of a lack of purpose. So anytime you say, man, I feel lonely, you need to go and find your purpose. For you just tuning in, these are lessons I learned while watching a Hallmark movie today. And then the last quote I wrote down was, a person said, I'm thankful for closed doors because they point me to the open doors. How many times have you thought, this is it, and then a door slams in your face? Don't curse the slammed door. Go looking for the open door. You see, life comes in many different forms, and we have to deal with all sorts of things. But the level of our joy and happiness and satisfaction is not based upon the things that come our way. It's based upon how we react and respond to them. Well, this is just a short Christmas message that I wanted to share with some of my friends who may come across this video. And I just want to say, there's another week for a new year, a lot of resolutions, but remember these three things. If a door closes, thank the Lord, it wasn't the right one for you. Loneliness is not a lack of company, it's a lack of purpose. And people come into our lives to either be a blessing or a lesson. May God allow you to live life to its fullest and enjoy all the people who come into your life. God bless.